What does a real estate mentor do? Guys, by the end of this video, you're gonna understand the power of a mentor, but I'm gonna share with you firsthand why selecting a mentor was the best decision I ever made when getting involved in real estate. Are you wondering if working and paying for mentors is worth it? I'm gonna get real and raw with you because I'm gonna share with you firsthand how now I'm able to run multiple seven-figure real estate businesses and how I attribute most of that to the mentors that I have learned from. And I'm gonna get real with you. I'm gonna share with you step by step my experience and what it was like working with a mentor. The biggest help a mentor did for me was removing that fear from me. I remember the beginning stages like it was yesterday. Guys, May of 2015 was when I got into it. Now, why May? Why will I always remember that? Because the prior month, in April, I come home early from work. I was working a 9-to-5 job. I was selling insurance, home and auto insurance, and I came home early. I was putting in long weeks because insurance is one of those things, it can get good into like when you're working it for a long time, it can get great. But really up front, it's hard. You don't make much money. And my first year working like 60-hour weeks, 70-hour weeks, it wasn't a lack of drive or passion. It's just how little you make on each deal, on each policy that you sell. I made $19,000 my first year and it was tough. I was married and I had 2 kids at the time. It was super tough. And fast forward a few years of doing insurance, it was still rough. So in 2015, I come home early from work. I wanted to surprise my wife because I was putting in long hours still. And I walk in the house and I walk around the corner from the living room and I see my wife and she's crying at the dinner table. And I just remember my heart sinking. And I walked over to her and I said, "Wendy, what's wrong?" And she wouldn't look up and she wouldn't answer. And I'm thinking, oh, like my heart just sinks even more. I'm like, "Wendy, what's wrong? Tell me." And she looks up and it looks like she's been crying for a while because mascara was going down her face. And she looks up and she says, "Cody, I just don't know how much longer we can do this with this insurance business, with this insurance gig. I still don't know how we're gonna put food on the table. I still don't know how we're gonna pay our mortgage." And I had a moment in that moment to get mad or angry or face reality and realize this wasn't working for me. I'm gonna need to figure something out. So going into when it comes to how much fear and how much anxiety was in my body at this time, it was huge. Working with a mentor was able to help me overcome this natural fear. And many of you might be thinking, I'm that same way, I'm fearful, I'm wondering what's gonna happen. A mentor was one of the biggest reasons I was able to overcome that fear of walking home, not having enough money on the table, not having enough to pay for the mortgage, seeing my wife cry, and wondering what am I gonna do. The mentor allowed me to overcome that fear. Another reason I love mentors is they cut the learning curve, guys. This is something that, do you want to try and struggle through this on your own and do your own deal? Could you do that? Absolutely. I've seen people work on this for 7 months, 8 months, 10 months, 12 months, but do you know what time does? Time is the killer of all deals, all businesses, and all entrepreneurs. You do not want a lot of time going in between from the moment you start to doing your first deal. Hiring a mentor, although it could cost money and will cost money for most of you, is something that, do you want this to be where you go from faith to fact super quick? Or are you fine with taking a long stroll of 7 months, 8 months, 10 months, 12 months? I've heard of people trying it for 2 years before they invest in a mentor and then they do it the next month. How quick do you want to do a deal? Because the quicker you do a deal, the quicker you go from that faith to fact. You're able to get that confidence and you're able to now go out there and just replicate it. That wash, rinse, repeat. All because a mentor is able to cut that learning curve. What allowed me to succeed at a high level? What was it that was my mentor that I was like, man, if there's anything I could give you advice on when looking for a mentor, what should you be looking for? I love someone that gives simple instruction and not education. Education is what, I don't want to go negative on this, but have to pinpoint it. Think how many trillions of dollars our nation is in debt that's tied to education. Education is something that it's philosophy, it's hearsay, but it's no real action. It's no real, hey, go out there and go do this. You get knowledge and then you still got to go out there and figure it out. And most people don't. And that's why you see this big national debt tied to education. So one thing I loved about what mentors can do for you and finding the right mentor is cut out all the fat. Don't do the ones where you're going to get education. Like back in 1950, real estate did this. I don't care. But a mentor that would do instruction. Today's day 1, you're going to go do this and here's how you're going to go do it. And then you go do that action item. Today's day 2, here's what you're gonna go do, and here's how you're gonna go do it. and you'd go out and do the action item. And you couldn't get the other action item until you've done the prior action item. I love mentors that break it down with instruction, not education, and that was one of the biggest reasons I was able to go out there and just take simple, small action that led me to doing my first deal. By the way, guys, it was 39 days after hiring a mentor. 39 days later, I did my first deal that paid me $24,000. The next one is accountability. I love accountability. I love knowing that, for example, nutritionists, the gym, any one of us can buy a gym membership. But why is it that people pay for a trainer or pay for a nutritionist? We can all go and eat healthy. We can all go to the gym and work out for 45 minutes. We can all step on a scale and figure out where we're at and make adjustments. But it's nice when you have an individual that holds you accountable. One that's gonna ask you, hey, you cheated this week. You were on track to lose about 3 pounds this week, but you didn't. What did you eat? Where did we go wrong? Oh man, I had that cookie. And I can promise you that following week, you're not gonna wanna have that conversation. You're not gonna eat that cookie when you see it. You're not gonna eat that bad meal. Same thing with real estate, guys. The accountability is the greatest thing you can have. Knowing that you have to take this action to get results. And accountability was huge. And I had a mentor that I gave full permission to call me out, that when he sees that I'm doing something wrong or I'm not taking the action I'm supposed to be taking, that he could call me out and tell me, hey, this isn't gonna work. If you're gonna keep messing around, this is never gonna work. You need to step it up. You need to commit to this process. Don't come back to another phone call. Don't come back for my advice again until these action items are done. And that accountability held my booty to the fire and allowed me to work through the whole process, because it's that action that leads you to the deal. It's not just watching videos. It's not just learning from a mentor. You have to do your part now and move your feet and actually act. Hey guys, something that might be little on your end but huge on my end would be hitting that like button. And this is something that it helps this algorithm that YouTube has, right? So more people can see this, that it's a credible source that people are learning from. Also hit that subscribe button and then hit that bell so it alerts you when I put out fresh new content. All right, let's keep going with why I love these mentors. Mentors also tap you into a community. You want a mentorship program where you can be with other students, like-minded individuals. I remember when I was first getting my first rental, guys, I remember telling my parents about it. And I remember my dad saying, why would you want a rental? And he told me about like his sister had got a rental and it was a bad experience. And I remember just sitting there thinking, oh man, did I make a bad decision? Should I have got a rental? Should I have not have got a rental? When I had learned the process from mentors of why to buy a rental and when to know it's a good deal, it checked through all the boxes, but instantly I had this little regret, like, oh man, should I have done it? The biggest thing a mentor does is put you in a community of like-minded individuals so that you can have those conversations with people that are there to cheer you on and be the yay sayers and not the naysayers. The ones that are gonna be like, yeah, you got this, go get that rental. Mindset is huge. Being around what I call Jim Rohn, he has a famous quote. He says, you're the average of the 5 closest individuals you spend the most time with. Meaning, if the 5 people you hang out with make 50 grand, there's a good chance you make 50 grand. If you are someone that is, everyone around you is well overweight, there's a good chance you're probably well overweight. Now, is that a good or a bad thing? That's totally up to you. But if you want to change those things, change how much money you make, change your diet, change how you look, change your habits, it's going to be directly related to the 5 closest individuals you spend the most time with. This tribe was everything. This community was everything, that this mentorship program. It also gave me more belief, more hope, more faith that I can do it. Because sometimes we put the mentor on a soapbox like, yeah, I'm not you though. Like, you get it. You're great. You've been doing this for a while, but I'm just a beginner. And then you hear the student say, oh my gosh, I just did my first deal. Guys, I did it this way. And all of a sudden you'd get inspired. You'd get motivated and you'd be like, oh my gosh, if this guy can do it, I can do it. So another thing that's great about a mentorship program is usually you're tapped into a community so that you can be with like-minded individuals and get inspired and motivated when other people put up their wins and shout out that they just did their first deal. Guys, at the end of the day, when it comes to mentors, I would highly suggest, yes, you gotta find the right mentor. I'm not saying every mentor out there is fantastic. That's definitely not the case, but there's incredible mentors out there. And for every great mentor I've worked with, not only has it cut the learning curve down, it's got me to my goal quicker. And in fact, the money I spent, I know I would have spent more money trying to learn it on my own through mistakes and trial and error. Guys, at the end of the day, R&D, back this old word, right? Back in like the industrial age. R&D was research and develop. I'm a big fan of the new age R&D, and that is rip off and duplicate. There are individuals out there that know the ropes. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to start from ground zero. You can already start where people are at if you're willing to invest in yourself and also invest in mentors. They will take you to that space a lot quicker and get you to doing a deal a lot faster. Hey guys, if you like learning about mentors and you like this content, you're definitely gonna wanna check out this other video of how much does a real estate mentor cost. Check that out. I'll go in depth about what you should look for and how much you should pay when it comes to finding your mentor.